Hello there, from Jay's Vintage Junk. And today, well, to be honest, I'm still waiting for those capacitors to arrive for that Sony radio I'm working on. So I thought I'd tackle something that I've been meaning to sort out for down in this workshop for a while. I've pretty much got the workshop as I want it at the moment. A few things I want to change about, but I'm pretty happy with how it's working at the moment. But one thing I don't have down here is a bridge PC. That's something that I can, get stuff off the internet and put on and actually transfer over onto media that I can use on older systems, and something with serial and parallel ports on it that will allow me to communicate with older hardwares. I'd like it to have like SCSI on board, so I can transfer stuff onto older SCSI hard drives for other systems and stuff like that. Pretty much like I've got upstairs in my office. I've got a little cube PC, about tiny little thing like that does all those things. And I built it a few years ago, and if you look back on my videos, in fact I'll probably stick a link in the description of this to my previous video when I talked about the little bridge PC that I put together. And yeah, I could use that one. I could perhaps bring that one down here, but to be honest, I actually do use it up in my office quite a lot. It does have uses up there, so I thought I'm going to build another system to do the same job but down here in the workshop. And I was thinking, what computer do I put it together with, what parts do I use and whatever, and then I kind of thought, that's been in the back of my videos in this workshop ever since I put this workshop together. I'm talking about this here. Now this is something that my mate Andy over at Vintage Electronics Repair gave me quite a while ago. It might be even a couple of years ago, to be honest. I'll pull it out now. But what this is, or however what this used to be, this was like a bit of a retro gaming rig that Andy put together. He used to mess about with, and like I say, he stopped using it and it ended up, I think, stuck under a workbench or something, and then he offered it me. Now this isn't quite what it first appears. I know it looks what we've got. We've got a IBM Thinkcentre here. Now unfortunately, before Andy got this, and I believe from what Andy told me about this, this came off a scrap truck. It come off his mate Mick's scrap metal truck, and when Andy first got it, the motherboard was completely dead in it, so he picked up a motherboard off eBay or off somewhere and put it in here. So it does not have the original IBM motherboard that this should have in it. So I'm not that precious about this system as in keeping it 100% original or anything, because it isn't. But it is a really cool case. I really like the styling of the case. I do like some of this the later IBM styling. I've got another, I think a Net Vista computer up in my attic that I'll have to dig out. Again, same kind of era as this Pentium 4, but it's like this super slimline, tiny little workstation computer, as well. This is something a little bit more high end. This would have run, in fact we've got on here, we've got it would have run Windows XP Professional. So like I said, this would have been a more high end system even back when it was new. This is what, early 2000s, I'm guessing by the actual look. I think this would have, I'm not sure, designed for Microsoft XP. It was probably like a Pentium 4 or something like that. I could probably dig out the specs for it, the original specs, but I'm not that worried about it. I don't know if we're going to use what's in it, change what's in it, or what yet really. But I think this is just like going to be the base from it. It has issues, as you've just seen. The front's a bit loose. We'll have to look at sorting that out so the front actually fits on a bit better. But it's nice for what we want. We've got two 5 1/4 inch bays exposed on the front here. We've already got a CD-ROM, DVD-ROM, CD writer, DVD writer unit in there. It's a bit modern for a lot of things, but we'll probably end up using that. We've got another slot there so we can put a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive in there. We've actually got two 3.5 inch, I think it said 360, 3.5 inch floppies in already. I'll probably keep one of those, move it down, and we might put some, you know, an SD card or some other slot solutions in there. We only need one 3.5 inch floppy, and obviously we need a 5.25 inch floppy for the type of stuff I want to actually do with this thing. OS wise, we'll probably actually, like the one that I have up in the up in my office, we'll probably actually run XP on it. It seems to just work really well for these bridge PCs. There's things like CPC Disk XP. It won't really work. I know it won't work on Windows 7. It really needs Windows XP to run. It's a really handy piece of software for creating disk images for the Amstrad the Amstrad 6128s and the Spectrum Plus 3s. You can basically just write disk images straight to floppies with that piece of software, and like I said, that really will only work on XP, or I've only ever managed to get it to work on XP. So things like that will be really handy on this system. Anyway, let's open it up and we'll have a look inside and see what we've actually got. I will fully admit, Andy gave me this thing, I thought that's cool, I'm going to do something with that one day. I've never actually even powered this thing up, so I don't know what software's on it, I don't know how it's configured, I don't know what hardware's in it. I think Andy said it's got a fairly decent sound card in it, so we'll have a look what the sound card is that's in there. Again, that's not essential for a bridge PC. A sound card, you want a sound card in there, but you don't need anything like mega fancy, because it's not really for retro gaming, although possibly we might do a little bit of retro gaming on this, depending on what we do with it and how far we go with it. So anyway, I'll pop the side off it and we can have a look inside. If I can get the side off it. Now, Andy did say, like, this came off a scrap truck, so it's, like I said, it's not in 100% like pristine condition. It doesn't even have, if we look on the back here, we can see there's some corrosion down here, there's some corrosion on here. We can also notice, unfortunately, again, because it doesn't have its original motherboard in it, it is missing its backplane there. I do have motherboards with backplanes, depending on possibly what we end up putting in here. It's not the end of the world though. Like I said, this is going to be a working PC. It's not going to be something just to sit as a pristine example of a certain computer. But yeah, we've got a video card in there with VGA, DVI and S-Video, which is quite nice. We also have onboard video. Nice, we've got serial, parallel, a lot of USB ports, network. We do have onboard sound as well, so we may get rid of them. It depends on what we do with the system and just rely on the onboard stuff, again, if we keep this motherboard. But we've got the all-important parallel port there. We've got at least one. Yeah, we've only got one serial port, but we may have another one on the board just on a header, so we could put a COM2 on it. I'm not sure yet. Loads of USB on the back. We've got a PS2 keyboard and mouse, which is quite nice. But that's about it. There's nothing else really on the back. Got bits of crud around the power supply, but we'll go into all that. Like, see if we can get the side off it. Now these, I think, they are screw. Well, there should be some screws in there, but to get into the main thing, I think these are pretty much screwless, because I can't see any screws on this side, and we do have a push button there. So I'll push it in, and it did go. Just a little bit on the stiff side. Let's get the side off it. And we're fairly bare bones in here. We have we've got cobwebs. Got some nice cobwebs down there. They probably come in since it's been in here. We've got from what I can see straight away, I can already see one cap blown on the main board. There's an electrolytic cap. I don't know if you can make that out on the camera yet, but there's an electrolytic cap right there. That's blown its top. To be honest, all the rest look okay from what I can see so far. It's probably a Pentium 4, judging by the heatsink on there, but again, I'm not 100% sure yet. The motherboard, I can see an L-V 800E there. I don't know if that's going to come up as anything. And then we've got a K8 M800 M3 revision 1.0. So I'm not actually sure who's made the motherboard yet, but it's got a VIA chipset. You can see a VIA chipset there. I'm guessing this is probably Pentium 4 era. I'm not going to pop the heatsink off just yet. I will actually try powering it up. I'm not worried about powering it up with just one bag cap there. I don't think it's going to cause any major issues. The most it really would do, hopefully, if it was completely shorted, is just shut that, put a short on that supply line, which will just shut the power supply down, so it shouldn't cause any major issues. Shall we have a look at what cards we've got in here, because I'm not 100% sure what we've got, but it looks like we might have something fairly interesting in there. I've got a screwdriver out. Should have got a bit more organised really. I've got my tools set up, but let's get a screwdriver out. We'll do. I think we'll need 2 screwdrivers actually. I've just noticed something. Where's my... ah, there he is. That should do for the other one. I've got 2 different types of screws holding those cards in. Right. Put them to one side. I've got a couple of screwdrivers here. Let's. I'll put some anti-static on because I don't want to risk frying these cards if there's something really tasty in there. Okay, right, so we're safe to work on the system. Let's pull this graphics card out and we'll have a look what that is. And there's quite a lot of corrosion damage in this case, so it is going to need a full strip down and sort of this case out, just to make it nice. You know, even if it's going to be a working computer, I don't want it all corroded inside, so we will have to do a little bit of clean up work. Let's pull out this. So my heater was touching the filing cabinet then. Right, let's pull this AGP card out and let's see what our graphics card is. If it'll come out. This is really tight. Out you come. It's got one of them tags on the back which is holding it in, so there we go, that's it free. And what have we got here? Well, we've got a ton of corrosion on the back of here, so something's obviously spilt through. It's done some damage to the board there. But what is it? What have we got here? We've got a G-Force. So this is a G-Force FX 5600 XT with 256 meg of RAM. So obviously, as modern cards go, it's probably useless. But as a vintage card goes, it's probably not bad. It's, yeah, an FX 5200 according to that there. So we'll have to see if that still works. Like I say, it has got rather a nasty amount of corrosion damage around there. So something's obviously spilt through. That is just on the DVI port, so hopefully the VGA might still work. And I'll put that to one side for the moment. And let's see what this this sound card is. Now this is why I need the other screwdriver, because quite unusually, and I do recognise this screw. This isn't a screw you'd normally find in an IBM. Those are screws. Let me see if I can get that to focus for you. But those type of screws are pretty much exclusively used by Compaq. So I think that's out of the Compaq. Right, Let's see if we can get this this sound card out and see. Ooh, oh, that is quite a nice card. We have a Creative Sound Blaster Live. That might be quite nice. It's a little bit on the rusty side. We're going to have to do a little bit of clean-up work on it. Some corrosion on the back here. So I'm guessing these cards were probably in the machine prior to Andy getting it, and he just put the new replacement motherboard in there. Well, that's quite nice. That's a reasonably decent sound card. So I will put these back in. What have we got hard drive wise? We seem to have an IDE hard drive there. This the motherboard has got serial ATA on it. I've got serial ATA cable here. Well, where's that going? Or is that indeed? Oh no, that is going to the hard drive. So we've got a serial ATA hard drive, but our CD-ROM, DVD-ROM, writer up there is actually IDE, which is quite good. So if we do change that motherboard and we don't have serial ATA, it won't be a problem because, like I said, we'll probably end up using that that CD writer because it's got everything on it we'd ever need. I don't actually need to write CDs that often, but it's a handy thing to have in a bridge system. Okay, so that's the sound card back in. Let's put this graphics card back in. One thing that might decide whether we end up using this board or not is whether it can support 360k floppy drives, because that's kind of a it's not essential, but it's very useful if they can. Obviously for 5 1/4 inch support. We might be able to do something for the BIOS and write a custom BIOS, or use an older version of the BIOS that has that support, because I'm certain that the disk drive controller and things like that will be absolutely fine with that. Anyway, what I'll do, I'll just reset the camera. I've got a monitor up here. We'll get this thing connected up with a keyboard and mouse. I'll plug it into the monitor up there and we'll actually see whether this thing powers up. And we'll have a little bit of a see what's on it, see if there's anything useful that's worth us keeping. Obviously it's got Andy's stuff on it, so I don't want to show everything that's on there. But if there's anything cool and useful that we can use for the reuse on this retro system, we'll obviously keep them and reuse them. I'll probably actually just take that hard drive out and archive it for future perusing and use some different hard drives in this, because I am not short of 3 1/2 inch hard drives for this kind of system. Anyway, so like I say, I'll get reset back up and we'll be back in a sec. Right, okay, I've got everything connected up. I'm actually having to use a serial mouse here because believe it or not, I don't seem to have any PS2 or USB mice down in the workshop, so we'll see if it'll actually connect up to that. I've got a PS2 keyboard connected up. It's connected, I mean it's not, obviously not period connected. You wouldn't have a widescreen flat panel display with something like this. It would probably be a CRT or a very early 4:3 flat panel display that would have come with that. Most likely, probably it would have still been a CRT. But this will work for the time being. I've got the plug here, so we'll plug this in and we'll see if the computer does anything. So I'll get that plugged into the mains. And let's switch on and we'll see if the, well, okay, we're getting anything. Well, the monitor come out of standby and went immediately back into standby. So, but we've got the power light on. I definitely think there's something not happy with this computer. Let's try doing seeing a little power back off, and let's try it again. Get an initial power up. We've got a green light. Ah, there we go. Oh, that graphics card does appear to work. We've got a Lenovo motherboard. Let's try to boot from CD. Let's see what's in the drive. We have got something in the drive. Oh, cool. Nice one. I didn't know I got that. We've got Sim Golf. I do like my golf games. Well, it appears to work. Let's shut that. Let's see. I don't know if this is. We don't have the mouse isn't working, so obviously can't find the driver from that. But I remember how to do it with key. There we go. Unfortunately, we don't have a. Let's see if it'll recognise the mouse. It might be able to recognise the mouse. In fact, shall I just go and get a mouse that will actually work on this system, and then we can take it from there. So back in a sec. Right, okay, there we go. I've actually repositioned so you can see really what's on screen, and I've plugged a modern Logitech USB mouse in. Interestingly, I've just figured out that the ports on the front don't work. I don't think they're connected up, but the USB on the back works fine. So we've got all sorts on here, all kinds of emulation stuff, which is really, really cool. Let's see what we've got here. Mega Drive. So what's this? I'm not sure what this is meant to be doing actually. Or is that some kind of horrific crash? Let me try a restart. Alright, yeah, so... Oh, no ROM loaded. Fantastic. I'll have to look at some of these things, obviously I'm not using them right. You have to just drop an image on there and it plays it, I'm not sure. We've got MAME on here. It's going to do the same thing. Oh no, cool. So load ROM. Look at that, cool. So I think this hard drive probably is not going to live in this computer. I am going to put this hard drive in something else. I've actually got a system I have in mind to put this in and actually keep it exactly as it is, as a retro, like an emulation rig. Because this has got lots of really, really cool stuff on it that would take me ages to actually put together quite like this. They've got Sim Golf and we've actually got the disc for that. That's cool. What I'm interested in actually is what are we actually running on here? What hardware are we running? That's the important thing. What's this VIC-20 and PET stuff as well? There's loads of Commodore stuff on here as well. Let's have a look at some of these. That's Vice C64 emulator. Let's see if this is going to work. I suppose once you've done the options, I'll play with this at a later date. I think that seems to work. Yes, okay, fair enough. So this was meant to just be a quick, does this computer work? What is it? Let's see if we can get into the BIOS and actually figure out what this computer is all about. So let's turn off computer, let's do a restart, and we'll see if we can hit the BIOS screen. We missed it last time. It seems to be a Lenovo mainboard. And we do keep this mainboard, like I said, we are going to have to do some repair work on it because we do have at least one bad capacitor. So we can get into some kind of... Yeah, was I quick enough there? Right. F1 to enter the BIOS utility, lovely, let's hit that, F1. The processor does sound like it's about to take off at the moment. But like I said, we've not done any work on this thing yet. Like system information, let's have a look what we've got here. It doesn't give us a lot of information there, really, does it? Let's see what else we've got. CMOS features. This is what I want. Actually, this is something I wanted to look at. Let's see what floppy drives are supported. Unfortunately, it just looks like we've got one 1.44 meg support. It doesn't support 5¼ inch floppy drives, which I think is going to be a bit of a pain. No, it doesn't look like we've got any other. We might be able to get, like I said, we might be able to get around that by swapping out the ROM with something, the BIOS with a slightly earlier one. So it's a Phoenix BIOS. It shouldn't be a problem to do. I have done that in the past. Advanced BIOS features. First boot device. So we should be able to boot from floppy and things. Yeah, we can. We can boot from USB floppy as well. USB zip drive or USB CD-ROM drive. We have got boot from floppy option there though, which is nice. Advanced chipset features. Well, it's not telling us what the actual CPU is, but I'm guessing this thing's a Pentium 4. So it's a bit of a shame that it's only got the 1.44 meg floppy on there, but I weren't, you know, it's one of them things with this age of computer, most people just only had a single 1.44 meg floppy, so I wonder why it's got a second one in. I'm not sure how that should be able to recognise. Right, I think that's pretty much it. See if it'll boot back up. So if there's any indication of what the CPU is, just tells us what the graphics card is, that it's a Lenovo motherboard. I mean, Lenovo bought out the rights to build IBM stuff, didn't they? That's why we have the Lenovo ThinkPads now. So I suppose it's kind of a homage to what it should really be, but we might, like I said, we might put a different motherboard in here anyway. We'll have to see. It doesn't. I'd like it to run XP actually. So yeah, we really need something that's like Pentium 4 or a dual core or something. But like I said, ideally, something that has the two floppy, the ability to recognise 5¼ inch floppy drives and 365¼ inch of that. Right, I think I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, this was just a little looky over video, just to see what this computer was, actually see if it's still powered up, what was inside it and what have you. And we've got a really nice sound card in there, a nice graphics card that's going to need a bit of clean up. A case which I'm really, like I say, it's the case more than anything else that I'm more interesting. I like this. I like the style of that case. It just looks the part. It will take everything that I want in one unit, as where the little one that I have upstairs, the CD drive actually has to be an external USB one because I only have one 5¼ inch slot in it, and that's taken up by the 360K drive in it. So like I said, this will be a little bit nicer, as in it can sit at the side of the desk exactly where it is now, but connected up to a monitor, keyboard and mouse, and actually be a usable thing on the desk. But I should probably actually take the hard drive out of it, and I have another system which would be really nice, a really nice little slimline Pentium 4, which I have no use for at the moment, which that hard drive could go in with everything that's on it as it is now, and I will keep it basically as a really nice emulation rig, because that really looks like what it's actually set up to do. I do know there's some other little bits and bats on here that I can use, but that's my plan anyway. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little updated video, look at this old computer and what have you. So I will say thanks for watching and goodbye.